everyone, and welcome back to the Roundup. We've got NFL draft rumors that we have to discuss, and who were the biggest winners and losers of free agency. We're going to get into it in the Roundup. So we have a ton of NFL draft rumors flying around right now, like JJ McCarthy being the best quarterback in this draft class, and the Patriots potentially not taking a quarterback at number 3. So let's go through what we think could be real and what could be fake. So to break down some NFL draft rumors, we are on tankathon.com on the board Pro 75. So let's start breaking this down, starting with the Arizona Cardinals, who are sitting right here at number 4. Their general manager, Maye said, quote, "We're always going to be listening." And that's when it comes to trading with them for that number 4 overall pick. And I think this one is interesting because right now, in most mocks, the first 3 picks off the board are quarterbacks. So Marvin Jr., the wide receiver out of Ohio State, has been the one that has been regularly mocked to the Arizona Cardinals. If they think, hey, we do not need Marvin Jr., or you have another team that it really needs a quarterback, they're going to be listening. And that's where we go to the Minnesota Vikings, because the Minnesota Vikings right now have the number 11 and the number 23 overall pick down here. And if we remember a couple weeks ago, they traded with the Houston Texans to get that number 23 overall pick. So 2 first-round picks, you think to yourself, okay, they're setting themselves up to go and get a quarterback, to try and jump into, let's say, the top 5. Because right now they only have Sam Darnold. And as much as I want to believe that maybe Sam Darnold is their answer, we all don't feel the same way. So they could potentially package up these 2 first-round picks. They could also, potentially have to add a little bit more into it and go back into the top 4 or 5 picks to go and get their quarterback. But that's what brings me to another team that could potentially be open to trade conversations, and that is surprisingly the New England Patriots. Maye said this week that they were also going to be listening to calls. He also praised Jacoby Brissett, who is their backup, or maybe technically QB1 for 2024. He said that he loves his leadership, and it's good to have a guy like Jacoby Brissett in case he needs to start. So there is potential that the New England Patriots do trade from the number 3 pick. I would be surprised if that happened, because this is a team that needs a lot of help in their rebuild, and I think quarterback is going to be the biggest one. So those are the big ones here. Arizona Cardinals, be prepared for them to potentially trade out of number 4, potentially also the New England Patriots, but it is looking like the top 3 picks this year are going to be Caleb Williams to the Bears, and then you have one of Drake Maye, Jayden Daniels, and then who could be a number 4 or 5? It could be JJ McCarthy, who's been getting a lot of steam because his previous coach, Jim Harbaugh, did say, hey, he's the best quarterback in this draft class. So it's going to get really interesting. Those are the rumors that we have heard most recently, though. So the big parts of free agency have come and gone. Let's look at some updated rankings and the biggest fantasy football winners. Right now we are at fantasylife.com to check out Dwayne McFarland's top 150 fantasy football rankings. So let's start with the top 12. We've got Christian McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, Breece Hall, Bijan Robinson, Justin Jefferson for that top 7. And of course, I think the one player that we have to talk about here is Justin Jefferson, who I want to believe is quarterback proof. But with him sitting as wide receiver 4, it is because of the potential of Sam Darnold or a rookie quarterback coming in. Because we know what that means for Justin Jefferson. There is going to be a huge downswing in passing yards per game, which might affect him a little bit. Again, I want to believe that he is QB proof, but that's just one to pay attention to. Next, we've got Amon-Ra St. Brown at 8, Puka Nacua 9, AJ Brown at 10, Garrett Wilson, Jahmyr Gibbs to round out that top 12. So it seems pretty normal, at least for me in the rankings that I've seen around. I want to talk about a couple of the upgrades, starting with the quarterbacks, and let's start with Caleb Williams here. He is right now QB 14, previously QB 17, and I think we're going to do this assuming that the Bears are going to take him number 1 overall, because when we look at what they've added, you've got Keenan Allen, Gerald Everett, Cole Kmet, also DeAndre Swift. Whoever their quarterback is for 2024, they are setting him up for success with all the weapons that they're giving him. They did not do that as much for Justin Fields, who is now with the Steelers, but I think this is a great call out for Caleb Williams, assuming that he does go to the Bears with the number 1 overall pick. Next up, we've got Will Levis, QB 26, previously QB 30. Talk again about adding weapons to hopefully help your quarterback succeed. They've got now Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, Treylon Burks. I really still want Treylon Burks to be a thing. And then they also added to their running back room with Tony Pollard. Tajay Spears is still there as well. So I think in this situation, if you believe that Will Levis can take that next step, this is going to be a fun offense to watch. I'm a little bit skeptical that he is going to be able to give all of these wide receivers, top fantasy performances, but I want to stay optimistic. So I like the call out for QB 26, previously QB 30. Now let's go through some running back upgrades. Now let's talk about some running back upgrades from free agency, starting with none other than Josh Jacobs, currently RB9, previously RB15, and I agree with this 1,000%. He is now with the Green Bay Packers, which is an ascending offense, and I think he is definitely going to offer that low-end RB1 value. I know that they allowed Aaron Jones to go to the Minnesota Vikings. They re-signed A.J. Dillon, but I think Josh Jacobs is going to dominate snaps in this offense, and it should be pretty fun to watch as well. Next up, we've got Derrick Henry, RB13, previously RB17. This is my personal favorite and probably the worst kept secret in the NFL, but I'm so excited to see Derrick Henry with the Baltimore Ravens. He is coming from the Tennessee Titans, right, who last season was PFF's reigning 32nd ranked offensive line. So I think he is going to dominate those early snaps. I think he's also going to have a super fun time playing with Lamar Jackson. And last but not least, we've got Joe Mixon, who went to the Houston Texans, right now RB18. I think this one is interesting because Devin Singletary is out of the picture. He went to the Giants. So you still have Dameon Pierce, who has been, to say the least, a little bit disappointing. So now you've got Joe Mixon in a good situation with a great offense led by CJ Stroud. So I'm excited to continue drafting him as well. Thank you so much for joining the Roundup today. Make sure you go to fantasylife.com. Make sure you subscribe to that newsletter and check out all of our best bets for March Madness, all of our articles, rankings, tiers, everything you need for this offseason to dominate. We'll see you next time.